Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hi, my name's Zoe. I do primarily true crime videos on this channel. I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button and also turn on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And if you're a current subscriber, please make sure that bell notification is on, as YouTube doesn't like suggesting true crime content. So before jumping into today's video, one, I want to apologise because I'm always apologising, but the lighting isn't great. I brought my ring light and I can't get it right, and it is night time, so I've got no natural light, but we are going to plod along and do the video anyway. Also, today's video is the fourth video in my true crime week. I am so excited that I've been stuck to schedule for starters and I've been able to do this. This has all been for you guys, to give back to you guys for subscribing to me. So I am so glad that you guys have stuck around for the full week. There is a playlist link down below if by any chance you've missed any of the videos in this true crime week. So before jumping into today's video, I just want to give my usual disclaimer. I mean no disrespect to anybody that I talk about in this video, anybody involved with the case, or anybody who knows anybody involved in the case. I am simply putting this information together to raise a little bit of awareness online. Today we are talking about the disappearance of Natasha Ryan. So this is a solved missing persons case, and as happy as I am to cover a good outcome to one of these cases, there is a lot of unexpected twists to this case, so make sure you stick around to the end to find out what fully happened. Natasha Ryan was 14 years old and she was a very troubled girl. There isn't much information on her background, but she had been suspended from school. She'd experimented with drugs, she had a history of mental illness and also self-harm. On the 19th of August 1998, Natasha's mother dropped Natasha off at school as normal, but Natasha didn't return home. After searching for her, her mother thought it was best to ring police and report her daughter as missing. But police didn't take this case seriously at all. They just thought she was another runaway, as Natasha had run away 2 times in the past, but she tended to come back a day or 2 later when she had calmed down. When Natasha still didn't return home, they started to take the case more seriously. They did extensive searches in the areas, and they even got local state volunteers to search the areas around her school, but there was no trace of Natasha. Police started to do routine interviews on people close to Natasha, such as her boyfriend Scott Black. Scott didn't have the best track record when it came to Natasha. Now, Scott was older than Natasha, and at one point he was dating Natasha's older sister. He even helped Natasha run away the previous times, so this led police to think that he knew information about where Natasha could be. He was interviewed by police and they concluded that he had no involvement in her going missing or running away. Weeks turned into months and months turned into years, and police still had no information, despite all the extensive searching and appeals that they had done for Natasha. This is when police started to think that maybe something a little more dark had happened to Natasha. During and after Natasha's disappearance, a number of young girls had gone missing. Police believed there was a serial abductor and or killer in the area, and it just so happened that there was a killer in the area, and he was arrested in 1999 for assaulting and killing a 9-year-old girl. His name was Leonard Fraser. Police highly believed that Natasha was one of his victims, so they started to search for her body, and they searched different bushlands and typical places where you would dispose of a body, but despite searching everywhere, no body was found. When Leonard Fraser was sent to jail, it was here that he admitted to all his killings. He had given police information on all his killings to try and get a plea deal. He didn't want to be surrounded by the general population in prison, and I'm assuming this is because of his crimes and what he had done. Because when you've committed a crime against children, the general population in the prison aren't too nice. During the naming of his victims, he named Natasha Ryan. He admitted to killing her, and this was crucial information that the police were looking for. Leonard Fraser was charged with the murder of Natasha Ryan, also 2 other girls, and charged with manslaughter of another female. Natasha's parents and family had started to come round to the idea that Natasha was never coming home. She was dead. So they decided to hold a memorial service for Natasha on her 17th birthday. And this was 4 years after she had disappeared. The family's fears had come true and they were absolutely heartbroken. They were living their worst nightmare. So the trial against Leonard started in 2003, and during this trial something happened that nobody expected. The police prosecutor stood in front of everybody in the court and he announced and said, "I'm pleased to announce that Leonard is not guilty of the murder of Natasha Ryan." Everybody was shocked, especially Natasha's family. Even her father fell to his knees in the middle of the courtroom. The police prosecutor then went on to explain his statement. Police had received an anonymous tip the day before the trial, and this tip was a note that was written on a piece of paper that said, "Natasha is alive and well, call this number." When looking further into this tip, police managed to get an address, so they decided to raid the address that night. And when they raided the address, this is where they found Natasha hiding in a cupboard, alive. And the property they raided belonged to Scott Black. She had hidden in his home for nearly 5 years. And what's even more damning is that she was literally minutes away from her mother's home. 20 days later, Natasha actually attended her own murder trial. She attended to answer some questions about the situation and also confirmed that she had never met Leonard. During the trial, the jury did find Leonard guilty of the 3 other murders, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Natasha was dubbed the girl in the cupboard by the media, but this couldn't be more far from the truth. She didn't spend very much time in the cupboard at all. She would only ever go in the cupboard if Scott's family or friends came round to the home. She just didn't want to be found, and she found herself wrapped up in one big lie. That was until she saw that someone was charged with her murder. She wanted to come forward to police and come home, but before she had chance, someone had already tipped police off. Natasha spent the last 5 years locked away in a house with the curtains drawn, and she did this to avoid getting found. And this actually made her very sick. As humans, we need direct sunlight, and that's something that Natasha didn't get at all. So she had various different vitamin deficiencies when she came home. She would often go for midnight swims with her boyfriend, and what she would do is lay at the bottom of his car to avoid getting caught. The public was very understandably annoyed at Natasha and Scott. The public and the police had spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on resources to look for Natasha, and all that time she was hiding in a house, not wanting to be found. The public thought that the pair should face criminal charges and be forced to pay the money back. Scott was sentenced to 3 years in jail for lying about Natasha's whereabouts, and Natasha was ordered to pay £1,000. The public was still infuriated with this. Natasha was doing news articles and interviews to gain money, so they believed that she had the means to pay the money back. But police later determined that she couldn't. but Scott was fined £3,000 and forced to pay an extra £16,000 back to the money that was used for the investigation and resources. Natasha has never given a reason for why she did what she did, and she said that she will never disclose this, not even to her family. All she wants to do is become part of her family unit again and be part of her family. In a recent interview that Natasha did, she did discuss how she knew how much she hurt her parents, and she is really apologetic about it. She is just trying to build a relationship with her mother, but understandably this is going to take time. Her mother just says that she wants to be able to trust her daughter again, and she wants to have the old relationship with her daughter that she did before she went missing. Natasha is now married to Scott, and it was reported that they got paid over £200,000 to put them pictures in a magazine, but this is just speculation. The last update that we had on Natasha is that she's happily married and has 3 children with Scott. So that is all for today's case. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tune in tomorrow for my last video in this case. Please give this video a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.